Thank you very much, Chair Yarmouth, Ranking Member Womack, members of the committee. I'm Ed Case, representing Hawaii 1, the beautiful city of Honolulu. And as one member who served previously and including service on this committee, I very much appreciate your responsibilities and your hard work. I'm here today in support of a fiscally responsible budget for FY20, a budget that would focus our core functions and discretionary priorities within our means. It would require a whole budget, long-term approach with bipartisan solutions to one of the most challenging issues facing our country. Our national debt, as we all know, has now surpassed $22 trillion, a huge number. But what is most revealing to me is that although $22 trillion is a large number, what is more important to me is that when I left Congress in January 2007, it was $9 trillion. $9 trillion to $22 trillion in half a generation, an unprecedented amount. As we all know, the interest on our debt is now the fastest growing part of our budget. Next year, we'll spend more money on interest payments on the debt than all federal funding, and by 2025, it may well exceed our defense budget. This not only represents great risk to economic, social, and defense stability, but is a stark indicator of fiscal unsustainability. Some say that budgets and deficits and debts don't matter, and we can and should spend more without also raising revenue. This feed the beast approach is the mirror image of the starve the beast approach that we've also seen. Both are wrong as a matter of fiscal, economic, budgetary, and social policy. We do need a budget that is not just an aspirational exercise, but instead a document that comprehensively addresses our nation's needs and expenses. As you both alluded to in your opening statements, we have urgent challenges from climate change to healthcare and beyond, and we need a full and difficult debate on how best to address them in a fiscally responsible way. You both also referenced the fact that if we continue on this currently fiscally unsustainable path, we will in fact reduce our ability to deal not only with normal course needs, but with future emergencies or recessions. This is borne out in a number of examples that we've discussed repeatedly over the years, but are becoming much more acute, including the draining of the Social Security Trust Fund, the Highway Trust Fund, placing greater pressure on our overall budget, and deferring these issues only compounds them. We need to return also to regular order. We need to pass both the budget and standalone appropriations legislation on time, every time. This lends both internal stability and external predictability to the process. As co-chair of the Blue Dog Caucus's Fiscal Responsibility and Government Reform Task Force, I encourage this committee to set meaningful goals to reduce the budget and put a plan forward to achieve these actions on a bipartisan basis as and where we can, because the longer we wait, the worse these options become. Let me talk briefly about a huge priority that I view out there right now, and that is the priorities of our challenges in the Indo-Pacific region, my own backyard. Hawaii is closer to Asia than it is to Washington, D.C., much of Asia, and we spend a lot of time dealing with the Indo-Pacific region, a region that has incredible economic contributions, economic promise, social promise and challenge, and an area where our interests are rooted deeply in the future, an area which will determine our country's future and our world's future, the Indo-Pacific region. It inherently plays a critical role in our foreign policy priorities, including combating climate change, countering violent extremism, and promoting democracy and the rule of law. And our investment and commitment on these issues in the region need to reflect the overall strategic importance of the Indo-Pacific, whether we are talking about defense or whether we are talking about soft power exercises, supporting our allies, supporting our partners, and really trying to enforce an international rules-based order. When we look in this area, we certainly need, I believe, to prioritize our response to China's growing role in the world. And this cuts across many, many different aspects. As you go through your budget process, then, I would ask you not only to try to work towards a fiscally responsible budget, and not only try to work towards a budget that is delivered on time, on budget, and that the Appropriations Committee and other agencies of Congress, as well as the private sector, can depend on, but also a budget that focuses on the priorities out there in the rest of our world, to include the Indo-Pacific region. I thank you very much for your time and appreciate the opportunity to share these thoughts and stand ready, willing, and able to work with you on a bipartisan basis to solve our budget problems. Mahalo.